Hello and welcome to the Pointless Distractions podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Draper. With me,
Graham Bergeron.
And Scott Westerman.
All right, boys, what do we have this week? What do we bring into the table? Graham, I heard you finally watched Captain America.
I did. I waited till it came to Disney Plus, and I finally gave it a watch, and it was frustrating, to say the least.
Why is that?
I mean, have either of you watched it yet?
No.
Not yet.
It's so frustrating to me, because I feel every Marvel movie that's come out in the past, 5 years, you can see the good movie in there. And I don't know if it's just, the writers that they hire, or if there's too much studio meddling, but they always just, miss the bar. And this one just, really bothered me, because you could tell, the director wanted to make Captain America the Winter Soldier, but the writers didn't know how to write Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and the studio was like, well, don't forget to add in jokes. Don't forget that it needs to be quippy and have levity, and I don't know, it was super frustrating.
How was Harrison Ford in it?
Fine. He was really good until it started getting goofy, and then he kind of lost it a little bit. When he was doing the serious, political stuff, great. But as soon as they started getting into, the Red Hulk transformations and stuff, he kind of went a little too much with it.
Overacting or just checking out, being nope?
A little bit of overacting, I would say. No, he actually...
Really?
I'd say it looked like he cared more about this than any of the Disney Han Solo performances.
Wow, that's hard.
Sleepwalking through the scenes.
But,
Where's my check?
Without the Red Hulk stuff, that's, the kind of role that Harrison Ford can do while literally sleeping, so he could have been checked out the entire time, and he was still fun to watch.
The Marvel's last few movies just been let's throw all the humor into it, and it's the humor works when it's well-timed, kind of, key number one of good jokes and good humor is having them well-timed, and they're just let's just throw it all against the wall and see what sticks, and it's just the hell is this? So yeah, they just need to really kind of tone that stuff back.
Yeah, I mean,
it's there's humor... even in the original Star Wars trilogy, there's plenty of humor, but it's well timed and it fits the scenes and stuff. So it's just you can't just start throwing jokes and throwing jokes and throwing jokes and throwing jokes and just hope that it's going to be 100% hit rate, because it's never going to be it. So it's just it's frustrating. I get you there, yeah.
Yeah, even Deadpool and Wolverine, that was more a straight comedy. So the constant jokes worked more, and I think that's why it was so successful. But I've watched it a few times, and that story makes no sense. It's really dumb. And I think if it wasn't for the comedic performances, that movie would also be lambasted by everyone for being another dumb Marvel movie.
Well, that works because Deadpool's already been set up as a complete nut job, just nonstop throwing whatever dumb joke he can at you and hoping they all stick. And, a lot of them land, a lot of them don't. But Wolverine was pretty much the straight man in that, and that's what they kind of need. In most of the Marvel ensemble movies, everybody's trying to be the quipster. And it's just no, let one or two people be the funny guys. Everybody else can, be themselves. And it's just, I don't know, just that's why it doesn't work for me sometimes. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you could have put Wolverine into any movie as long as he had that costume, and it would have done well. If you had put him in the Thunderbolts with a yellow costume, that movie would have doubled the box office.
It just, you can tell that the studio is afraid to lose money. Because especially with Daredevil just coming out. That was a great show, super serious tone, didn't fall too far into the Marvel quips, and everyone loved it.
I'm sure there's probably 2 or 3 quips in there, but again, if they're well timed and they fit the story and the tone, they work. It's trying to make Naked Gun Marvel is just dumb, especially when the humor is from 2005, bacon and mustaches and stuff. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there's definitely some
with the times.
Terrible humor in this one, eye-rollingly bad. But
can't wait to watch it.
Well, the sad thing is the core concept of the movie could have been really interesting if they went along with it. It was an interesting dynamic of Thunderbolt Ross is the person who threw Sam Wilson in jail after Civil War, and now Sam Wilson's Captain America, and Harrison Ford is the president, and so Harrison Ford brings him in and is you're Captain America now. You have to work for the government. That's kind of your whole job. So if they had leaned into that angle where the conflict of having to be the face of this like oppressive system that threw you in jail for being a superhero. Like, could have been interesting, and they just ignored it like halfway through the movie.
Oh, we forgot what movie we were making. There more dick jokes. Bring it home.
Harrison Ford say, "Get off my plane" at any point in that movie.
Missed opportunity.
He's got to think it's possible.
Think so. I don't know. He had a couple like Harrison Ford one-liners, but I don't think he actually said "get off my plane."
This is a clear and present danger.
I guess I'm looking forward to watching that movie even less than I was before.
Yeah, with Graham's glowing review.
I mean,
I'll probably see it in 2 or 3 years.
I'll say it's not a bad movie. Like, it was fine. It was just like the final straw for me for this. I'm just growing tired of Marvel's shtick lately.
I think Graham's full in on Disney. Oh, excuse me, on DC now.
Oh, that's a whole nother can of worms that we don't need to get into.
Maybe we'll do that on another episode, huh?
Yeah, let's at least wait till Superman comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my deep dive into the Zack Snyder Justice League Reddit.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's
That sounds scary.
absurd.
I say let's please not ever cover that.
I still haven't watched that dang Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. Maybe I'll move that up a few points in my queue here.
If you have 3 hours, just do it.
That's the thing. I just don't have 3 hours. I can maybe watch 1 hour at a time, though. I think I could pull that off.
I mean, they break it up into chapters. I think the chapters are like an hour or so long.
All right. I got to start it then. It took me forever to watch that latest Batman movie that came out, the Robert Pattinson one, because that was like another 3-hour movie, and I was like, it was good, though. I enjoyed it. That was a good one. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Robert Pattinson as Batman, but he pulled it off pretty well.
Well, who knows if there's going to be another one at this point.
We'll see.
Anyway, so I haven't been up to much myself. Haven't been able to watch any more movies. I guess I did watch the 4:30 movie, the other Kevin Smith one. So I think I'm caught up on all his stuff now. Another
How bad
one
was that?
It was hard because it was kind of uneven. It was like really good in parts and really slapsticky and kind of dumb in other parts. And it was, another one of those semi-biographical Kevin Smith movies where he's, kind of going back and this is my childhood and this is my teen years and blah, blah, blah. The actors in it were actually really good. They, for, a bunch of teens or early 20-somethings with basically little experience, they were all really good. Nothing really to write home about, but it's worth seeing, I think. It's kind of a throwback to the, it's trying to be not quite like a John Hughes movie from the 80s, but it's very, kind of goofy kids doing goofy things and little heartfelt stuff at the end. So, a lot of teenage love and all that. And,
Any
I don't know, it was
interesting cameos in it? I know Ming.
pretty much everybody. Yeah, Ming pops up like right in the beginning. I was like, holy crap. Ralph Garman's in it. I don't remember anybody else. Jeff Anderson was in it, which surprised me. He popped up for one scene. I don't know. A lot of the old people, a lot of the old View Askew guys, and just, again, turn off your brain, have fun, you'll enjoy it. Another glowing review, I guess.
Now, an interesting question I've had for this week is Kyle, did your piece of the Amity House turn up yet?
Oh, yeah.
It did.
And you're still alive.
Still alive.
How's that going?
Not knock on wood. There's no wood around me. Shit.
I don't see any
Use
walls behind
Use the
you.
piece.
Well, I sent you guys the picture of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was creeped out the first day. Nothing really weird has happened. So I've had it about a week, except for yesterday. I have the Police album Regatta de Blanc. I think it's their second release. I've had that poster up for a decade that I've lived here, and that just randomly came off the wall the other night.
Good.
And it's not by a window; it's in a hallway.
Huh.
But I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Maybe Jody the pig is not a big Sting fan. I'm not sure.
Maybe the demons just have a vendetta against the police.
I guess so. Fuck the police. No, nothing yet. I wish I had more to it after last week's episode and telling that whole story, but really nothing.
I'm going to have to text Jen and just tell her to start messing with you, moving stuff around the house. Just
No, fuck that.
blame it on
You wouldn't
that.
have the ambition to do that anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, it's sitting on my graphic novel shelf, and it's in the living room. I didn't want it where I sleep, so... But it's on the other side of the wall where I sleep.
You don't sleep with it under your pillow like I thought you were going to?
Actually, a few days ago, we lost power for about 2
there you
minutes.
go.
I was like, is that related to this?
Every stupid
Just in the
little thing
middle of
that
the
happens
morning,
now.
a sunny morning, just power cuts out.
I'm telling you, you keep a journal of all of these weird things, we turn it into a documentary, and we make bank.
We make our own Amityville movie.
That
The
sounds like a horrible
Amityville
idea.
Kyle or Amityville Window. That'll be it.
Graham already had it. Amityville Wood Chunk.
No, I'm saying take it seriously. Don't make it a movie, make it a documentary.
Fuck that, I gotta live with the thing.
That's a small price to pay for fame.
I mean, I could buy 2 more and give it to each of you, but I don't know what would happen. I'm sure Scott wouldn't be able to have that in his house. You guys are like halfway religious, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't think my wife
fear
would
no
let
chunk.
me have it out, but only because she has like a creepy clown doll collection that I make her keep in the basement just because they weird me out.
You can't have an old piece of particle board that's like painted.
Hey,
No,
it's
she'd use
authenticated,
it.
man. Come
She'd
on.
use it as leverage to bring out the clowns.
All right, so Scott, you had an idea to get us to know each other a little better since you don't really know
Yeah.
Graham as well as I do. And
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that I've been doing a podcast with you guys, and I've never actually met Graham in person, and I've really only known you for like what year and change, year and a half, maybe
year and a half.
year and 3 months, yeah. And so I know we've kind of talked about some of our different interests and stuff with the movies and the comics and the TVs and the video games or whatever. I just
Haunted
thought it'd
houses.
be kind of fun. Haunted houses, window memorabilia. I just thought it'd be fun to put together like a little kind of 20 questions kind of thing. Just ask you guys some basic questions we can go through. Hopefully it's not too boring for the listeners, but I thought it'd just be kind of interesting to get some backgrounds.
Yeah,
So
let's do
I'm
it.
down.
I just kind of wrote this down. Please give a basic family bio as much as you're comfortable sharing. Talking about your significant others, if you have any kids, siblings, parents, etc., anything like that. Do you have any brothers? Do you have any sisters? Are your parents still alive? Are you married? Do you have kids? That kind of stuff.
I can go first. So I'm engaged to Jen. We've been together, 13 years. Probably engaged six of those years. My dad died about a decade ago, but my mom is still living. My mom lives with my younger sister who takes care of her, Katie. And then you guys have met Pat in episode 2 that never came out. We'll meet him again at some point. And I have an older sister also, Erin. 2 nieces. I don't have really much family. It's weird. Like, most of them are dead. I have one living, like, direct aunt. So I'm not, like, super close with family.
Graham,
Alright.
you?
Yeah, I can go next. So I am married to my wife, Cameron. We've been married for 4 years, 2021. So we're married, 2 kids, Spencer and Julia. They're 4 and 1. I have an older sister. Both of my parents passed, but I have 2
Oh, really?
very large extended families. Like my dad was one of 9 kids. My mom was one of 8 kids. And
Wow.
yeah, so especially like our dad's side is very close. So like I'm one of 18 grandkids for my grandparents.
Wait, is that like a blended family, or they each, like, the family had 9 kids and the other one had 8?
No, my dad was one of 9 and my mom was one of 8. So yeah, super close to the family on my dad's side. We have like multiple family gatherings a year. But I think that's about it.
Dang, that's crazy. Let's see. So surprisingly, I'm the oldest one here, and both my parents are still alive. So I didn't know both of you had lost parents already. That's kind of crazy. Dad and mom are still alive. My dad's remarried. They're in their late 70s now. I guess they're getting there. I have an older brother who lives in Alaska. I got an older sister who still lives here in Ohio. Did have 2 younger twin sisters. Unfortunately, both of them died in their 30s of different types of cancer, which was just shocking and crazy.
Wow.
So they've been gone for, I guess Chris has been gone 14 years, and Cindy died, I think, the year after or 2 years after that. It was crazy because it was my half sisters, really, because my parents got divorced when I was 4, and they both remarried. And then the twins were with my mom's second husband, and apparently his side of the family is just like had really bad cancer running throughout it, and unfortunately it got down to them. So my parents are still alive, but my younger sisters are not. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, on that happy note, I guess we can move on. Basic question, simple question. Where were you born?
Franklin, New Hampshire, a real shithole.
A real
Nashua, New
American
Hampshire.
Shithole. Oh, you guys are both from New Hampshire. Okay,
Yeah,
you're both
Nashua,
born
New
in
Hampshire. Not a shithole. Voted best place to live like twice in America.
Yeah, in the 90s. But if you mention Franklin...
That was when
to
I was
most
born.
people-
I was born in 89. So like
Yeah,
that.
see? There you
No,
go.
if you mention Franklin to most people from New Hampshire that knows where that is, they'll be like, ew. But I left when I was like 4 or 5, so. And I grew up in Virginia for a bit and then came back.
Okay, I thought you were from somewhere, moved to New Hampshire, but you're actually born there. I was born in scenic Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Yay, another tiny little town. Here's another. We're going to kind of ease into the questions, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff later. What is your current occupation, if you care to share?
I work at a brewery. I
I
don't want to
did know
get too specific. Not that it matters, but
Yeah. Graham?
I am currently unemployed, but I've been staying at home with the kids while they were growing up, and I've also been doing like online school. And I actually just finished school yesterday, and like my graduation date is this upcoming Thursday, and so
Woohoo!
I'm gonna be on a job hunt starting next week.
And I'm gonna miss
Good
the
luck.
party.
The
Yeah.
one weekend you have something to do.
My exciting job, this will put everybody to sleep. I work for a workers' comp consulting company, and I'm a rate specialist for them. Basically do a lot of new policies and stuff. Not exciting, but it pays the bills. So, all right. So we covered current. What's the worst job you ever had?
Oh, I worked at Manchester Airport. Yeah.
What'd you do there?
I got hired to it was like a temporary like prep job, like overnight, that was gonna pay really well. And I'd just be left by myself essentially. And it turns out I became a warehouse runner, which was not what I was hired for. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Graham remembers that time.
Yeah,
Was
I
fucking
remember.
miserable that
Oh,
whole
yeah.
5 months. I did like nothing. I had to go to work at 3:30 in the morning.
Did it at least pay well?
It was just okay.
All right. My worst job when I was in high school, my first job was working in a concession stand at like a baseball stadium.
Okay.
And my bosses really liked me. So on the off season, they asked if I wanted to come and work for them at their other place that they ran. And it was the concession stands at a bingo hall. And
Oh,
it
no.
was awful. I don't want to like stereotype the kind of people that would go to a bingo hall, but it's everyone that you would imagine would go to a bingo hall. And that was still when they were allowed to like smoke indoors and stuff. And it was terrible.
How many little ladies wanted to pinch your cheeks?
Oh, I thankfully did more like food prep than actually
Oh.
working the registers. So I didn't have to deal as much with the clientele, but it was just awful.
I think my worst job was probably a summer job in college. I didn't have anything lined up, so I ended up working for the city. It only lasted about 3 months, and then I said, screw this, and I moved down to Cincinnati to live with my future wife for that summer. We weren't really sure what we were going to be doing. Like a couple days, I got to ride the garbage truck and deal with all that fun stuff. You know, so the guy that's driving the truck is making like 35, 40 bucks an hour probably, and this is back in their 90s. You know, I was making minimum wage. So I had to do all the work, and he just sat in the truck like, eh. Basically, all they had for us doing the rest of the time, if they couldn't find busy work for us to do, would just be washing the trucks constantly. Like, no, it was terrible. So it was minimum wage. That lasted about, I think, 3 weeks, and I just said nope. What I was going to ask before that was, what is your first job? I guess Graham already answered that.
Yep, concession stand at a baseball stadium, which it was fun. I remember having some like really enjoyable times there.
Slinging weenies.
Yeah, there were some terrible shifts. We had like whenever there were promotions and stuff, it was terrible. Like I'd have to work 4th of July, and they had a promotion for free hot dogs. And so you get a packed stadium, and everyone there wants a free hot dog. And it was I couldn't eat hot dogs for like 5 years because one 4th of July I wrapped so many hot dogs, and I'm like I will be sick if I eat another hot dog.
I'm just slinging wieners out to everyone.
First job was Toys R Us, and I was like 15.
No way.
Yeah,
That sounds like a dream job.
it
Then you
was.
get there, you're
I
like,
went there because I thought I would get a discount on video games, and like, you know, I didn't want to tell anyone, but like Star Wars toys at the time. But this was like 1998, and it was like $7.25 an hour, which was like really good money then. But my dad randomly decided one day after a couple weeks in that he wasn't going to drive me there anymore. It was like not in walking distance, or that's
So you were forced to quit?
yeah, essentially.
wow.
I was so pumped to work there too. I got there and they're just like, go pick up some carts, and I was just like getting one at a time, just bringing them in.
You're like literally picking them up and carrying them in.
I mean,
Like,
hearing
I'm gonna have
that, your bosses were probably thrilled when you said you couldn't come in anymore.
Yeah.
We got
All
this
these
low kid, he's not
N64
coming in
games are going to be $50 instead of $60 with my discount.
My first job, if you don't count my paper route, I worked at Domino's Pizza of all places. One of my friends, his uncle owned the local franchise, and so he got me in there. I did that for, I don't know, 6 months maybe, and then I moved on to bigger and better things, which was just grocery stores. Unfortunately, I have no good pizza stories. I know you guys have a lot of restaurant experience with some good stories, but yeah, it was
I can't believe you
a
have
franchise.
nothing.
I know, I don't. I really don't.
Even 6 months anywhere in a restaurant.
Oh, maybe I was just too young and naive to notice stuff that was going on.
Oh, we had
But, yeah,
some
it was-
we had some non-dramatic 6 months.
Say we did?
I mean, I feel like they seemed more dramatic because we were friends with Eric, who dealt with all that stuff. But like, if you're just a regular employee, like we had.
Oh, we had free reign. Oh my god, the bar, like not as much Graham, but we'd get out. Sometimes I'd be out at 4. I'd be there till 8, drinking like 13 beers and doing shots.
Yeah,
Wow.
see, I did it responsibly so that when the bar was shut off for the rest of you, I could still have 1 or 2 drinks after my shift.
Kyle
that-
stayed for 4 hours just pounding things out of the liquor cabinet. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's 100% true. Happened.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, this is only a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
5 years ago?
I mean, don't tell any of the
6?
higher ups, but I used to just like bring 6-packs home from downstairs if I like worked later than 11:30 and couldn't pick anything up on my way home.
You asshole.
Wow. I was going to say, I thought Kyle's going to be like, amateur. Only a 6-pack? Come on.
No, I meant all the beer I stole there was drank there. I didn't take anything home for the premise.
I mean, I only did it like 2 or 3 times, but I definitely did it.
I'd see Graham, he'd be like, all right, I'm out, but I'm going to this party. I think it's when he first started dating his wife, and he'd make like 3 pizzas, all this shit.
Start making pizzas, carrying out beer.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, that was one of
Fringe
the
benefits.
perks of being higher management.
Anybody there could have done that. You could have been like your first day and be like, no one's going to stop you.
Oh, I did stuff like that all the time. I remember once it was Christmas Eve, and I decided that I had no plans, and I was going to go see the first animated Spider-Verse movie. And so I just stopped in and made myself a huge, giant plate of chicken tenders and brought it to the movies with me. Just walked in, made chicken tenders, walked out. That's
Did
fine.
you put him in on the plate? Or-
It was dead
Shut up,
there
big
anyway.
platter.
All the rest of the employees
Yeah.
were out front in the lobby playing Madden.
Oh, this was good. You remember Maddie, obviously. It was his baby shower, and nobody knew this dude was having a kid. So he told the GM,
Really?
Jackie, at the time that he was bringing like 12 pizzas to like the homeless shelter. And I go to his baby shower, and the 12 pizzas are there.
I'm taking these to the homeless shelter. That doesn't sound suspicious at all. I'm just going to randomly make 12 pizzas and take them down to the homeless shelter. Okay.
I don't think I
Sounds
ever
good.
did that many without paying. I think like 4 was usually my limit.
4 large. And this place was expensive. What would 4 pizzas
Yeah.
be there? Like $80?
Oh, easily.
But at least he limited it to 4, right?
Oh, I mean, there were a couple years there that I don't know if I paid for food in my life. I think all I spent my money on was rent and alcohol, and then I just had free food.
Well, that was a nice thing working at the first grocery store I worked at. Like if you go on break or, their lunch break, they'd be like, just go grab something out of the freezer or something from the deli, as long as you don't spend too much. So at least I could get whatever I wanted there. I wasn't taking 4 freaking pizzas with me or 12 pizzas with me or anything. Or I wasn't getting free beer.
Go to the homeless shelter.
Yeah, I wasn't, yeah. But I mean, that was actually, allowed. So as long as you didn't abuse it, they'd be like, yeah, just go grab something.
I mean,
We might have to
I
do
think
another restaurant.
I think
episode.
for context, it should be known that my ex brother-in-law did own the business.
Oh, okay.
I think I kind of have you one upped
Uh-oh.
when I worked at the famous seafood place that I've mentioned before. So when I lived with my brother Pat, our next door neighbors, this old couple, Pat and Janine, not to be confused with my brother. Pat and I were fuck ups, and I didn't make much money at the time, so we'd always be late on rent. But they were super cool, so we'd get liquored up and go over there and tell them, we're gonna be late this week, but it's cool, whatever. So occasionally I'd grease their palms, and I would take a bunch of shit from the restaurant. And one time I took probably $300 worth of food, like sea
Oh my God.
scallops, lobster tails, shucked lobster meat, all this like clam chowder, oysters on the
I love
half shell.
Well,
And
yeah.
just brought it over to them. But they were completely cool. They're like, that's fine, man. As they're eating like the lobster tail, I'm like, yeah, I got this chowder for you too.
We need to do another just restaurant episode, I think.
I
Or
was
this one
saving
turns
that
into
one for that, but now that one's outed. But Pat can back that one up, like, because I had him pick me up, and I was like, Pat, I'm gonna run outside with a box. I'm gonna put it behind the dumpster. You got to come and grab it, and then grab me in a half hour. But yeah, it was
All right,
the great seafood heist, but that happened multiple times.
I guess we'll stick with the food theme then. What's the grossest food you've ever eaten?
So there used to be, The house was just talking about was in Goffstown, New Hampshire, which is like one town over for where I am right now.
Okay.
And this African restaurant opened up. I'm trying to remember what country in Africa it was. It was like a Ugandan restaurant. And I used to work with this chick Caitlin who was just super into food. And she's like, let's like try new things. You want to try this place? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I watched a lot of Anthony Bourdain at the time. I'm like, yeah, of course I want to. I'll go try anything. Fuck it. So we went to this place and we ordered the goat stew.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Did it have like a skull in it?
No,
Head in
it had plenty of bones. It might have been a skull. Imagine the smell of a petting zoo in a broth, in a meaty,
Petting zoo
watery broth with bone shards in it. Straight
like
up petting
Mommy's
zoo. We took one bite each and basically left, and they weren't even like, "What's going on? Like, are you happy with this?" Like,
No.
the place closed within 6 months. But
Let's see. What's the grossest thing I've ever eaten? Probably. I mean, mine's pretty tame. I mean, everything's going to be tame compared to that. Probably just. My mom used to make some gross shit. She always would make like liver and onions, and she'd just sit there and eat sardines out of the can just to gross us out. But
I remember my dad tricked me into trying liver. I don't know how I fell for it. He told me it was chocolate too.
Ew, really?
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't know
it's
why
got
I
a
would have
weird
fallen
texture.
for that.
It's got such a weird texture. Actually, I think liver taste works, but I think the grossest thing was maybe beef tongue, just because the texture of it is just like.
I don't think I have anything comparable to either of those.
Well, you don't have to compare it. It's just what's the worst thing.
I mean, recently, so when our daughter was first born, like a year and a half ago, she had a dairy intolerance. So because of that, my wife had to go vegan for like 6 months.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I tried to eat some of the like vegan food that she was eating to, be supportive and stuff. And some of that stuff is awful. I think vegan cheese is one of the grossest things I've ever eaten.
Oh, I've had that. That's nasty.
I've had like the vegan, obviously the fake chicken tenders. That stuff's not that bad.
Yeah. Oh,
And then-
there's definitely some stuff. Like we still use like oat milk coffee creamer instead of regular coffee creamer. Like stuff like that is fine, but there's certain things. Like I think cheese was definitely the worst. We got like a vegan pizza one time, and it was so bad.
I probably couldn't stomach it because he had to pay for it.
I've never paid for pizza
I remember the
before.
golden era.
What's the farthest you've ever traveled from home?
Florida, a couple times. I'd family down in Florida I've been to the Dominican
Oh, there you go.
for vacation.
Nice. That's where we honeymooned, actually.
Florida's the farthest I've ever driven.
Oh, that's a drive.
Yeah.
That's a drive for us, and you guys are gonna probably tack on a few more hours on top.
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
it's a 24-hour drive.
Yeah, I think it's about 15 for us.
I would say either San Diego or I was on a cruise and went to the Mayan coast, so that's probably farther technically. But
Oh yeah, the Mayan coast. I'm trying to think east or west because I've been to Hawaii, but I also, when I was in the army, I was in Germany. So probably, I'm saying probably Germany, or no, maybe Italy. Went on their honeymoon with my first wife. Italy's probably a little farther than Germany, so I'll say Italy. I highly recommend it if you can ever go. All right, what is the one place in the world you want to visit before you die?
Italy.
There you go. I highly recommend it.
they only one?
You can say multiples if you want.
I would say Japan.
Oh, good answer. I think I might steal that myself. I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Plus, my dad grew up there, but his dad was stationed after World War II, and he spent like 3 or 4 years there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anywhere like actually specific that I am like dying to go to. I don't think there's many places that I turned down an opportunity to go to, but I don't
So
think
everywhere?
there's none that come to mind that like jump out to me.
Switching gears, okay. Did you guys collect anything as a child? Let's get into the fun stuff.
Yeah, same shit I'm into now.
Really?
Yeah, comics and toys. I still have most of those comics too. I mean, they're all worthless, but
Graham, anything?
You're
a collector at all?
Not as a kid as much. I guess probably like Pokemon and Magic cards, but those weren't things that my parents wanted to purchase for me, so I had to find my own means of getting them. Like my parents would give me money to get lunches at school, and I would skip lunches for a few days to give the money to my friends to go buy me Magic cards.
Yeah, mine would have been Star Wars toys and like movie cards, like the Star Wars movie cards, and Gremlins, Indiana Jones, all that kind of stuff. Didn't get into comics till I was 13 or 14, I guess. I guess that still counts as kid, right?
it does.
But yeah, as a little kid, it was just Star Wars toys and movie cards, and then of course I moved on to GI Joe when that came out. All right, so there you go. Moving on to what were your favorite toys as a child?
Favorite ever, like to start, like my earliest stuff was Thundercats. I
never
had
had a
almost
Thundercat.
everything.
Yeah.
But I went like Thundercats into G.I. Joe, into Turtles, and then probably into Star Wars. I would say in that order. But there was also other lines mixed in there.
I would say I started with Power Rangers. I had a couple of the ones where their heads would flip. And then I just moved on to Legos.
Mine, I guess I already said it was Star Wars. That pretty much ruled my life from the age of 6 till I was about 10. Well, let's go to the next thing. Are any things, toys, books, etc., from your childhood that you would love to get back?
I was going to
Sounds
say
like Kyle's like
Thundercats.
everything.
No.
All my Thundercats, yeah.
No, in a couple swoops through the years, my mom would get rid of all my shit and give it to the Salvation Army.
Oh no.
Yeah. She'd always be like, well, we didn't know at the time. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it especially hurt when I lost all my Ninja Turtle stuff.
All in
probably-
one swoop, just big box and
Yeah, it was probably-
out the door.
Yeah, it's probably 94, maybe. She's like, well, if you don't play with it, it's going. And just go in my closet and get rid of everything.
So the thing
Comma.
for me wasn't actually anything that was mine. It was something that was my parents'. So I was a normal kid growing up, loved video games and stuff. But I started getting more into video games and all that as I got older, like programming in high school. I went to college and have a degree in game design. And then one summer, while I was in school for game design, my parents' basement flooded. I went there and I was helping them throw away all the stuff that was destroyed. And I found in the basement an Intellivision that had
Oh
been
yeah.
in our basement my entire life, and they never told me it was down there, and I didn't know it was
No
down
way.
there until it was destroyed in a flood. So I definitely, if I had the ability, would go back and get that.
Never had a television. My brother's friend had one. We had the Atari 2600, or at least the Sears version of it. Basically, it was the exact same thing, but it was Sears branded. And we also had this Coleco thing, I think it was, and it was like a big triangle. On one
ColecoVision.
side no, it wasn't ColecoVision. That came later. This is way before that. This had like a steering wheel on one side, and it had an old 6-shooter gun on the other side, and I think the other one was like the other triangle side was Pong paddles or something.
Yeah.
And it was like had like cartridge on top you could put in, and you could
Yeah,
play
I know what
driving
you're
games,
talking
with
about,
shooting
yeah.
games. Yeah, have you seen that thing? Yeah, we had that. That's not what I want back though.
You know what's super funny?
Well,
Only a few hours ago, I was at work talking to my boss, and we were talking about old video games. He said something about Intellivision. I was like, do you know that dude Graham from my podcast? His parents had one in their basement,
Oh,
and he didn't know it until it flooded. Swear to God.
it was
Only like
it still
4 or 5 hours ago.
still haunts me
Yeah.
to this day.
oh, what would I be? Probably the one. Yeah, a couple things come to mind. I always wanted. I had a Mego Batman and a Mego Superman that I would love to have back. I mean, I could just go get those if wanted to, but I also had 2 Spocks for some reason. I think it was when I was 5. For some reason, somebody got me. 2 different people got me Mr. Spock Megos. I don't know why, because I didn't really care about Star Trek at that.
I was going to say, I thought you didn't like Star Trek.
Yeah, not till later. But it was just like, huh, okay. I guess they knew I liked Star Wars or something. So, well, no, because this would have been 76. It was before that. So it would have been before Star Wars even came out. So I don't know. I guess they just knew I liked space stuff. The other thing that I wish I could get back was it was a Battlestar Galactica like launch bay thing. And it looked like a kind of a hangar thing from Battlestar Galactica. And it had 2 little like foam Vipers. And they were like, it was like spring loaded. So you pull the triggers and they'd launch. I've seen them online on eBay and stuff, but I just never really pulled the trigger to get another one. But it was just kind of a dumb toy that broke easily, but I thought it was. So that's
Isn't
kind
that
of
why the rocket firing Boba Fett didn't come out? Because the Battlestar Galactica toys like shot some kid in the eyeball or some shit.
Yeah, they said
Always
they
heard
choked
that.
on one of the things. It was like they had little spring fire missiles. I always wanted those. Man, I always wanted those. That Viper and that Cylon Raider too. We used to go to TG&Y in Kenton, Ohio, and they always had those. And I could never get my mom to buy them for me, and then they took them off the market, I guess, because they had the spring fire missiles and some kid choked on it. And that's why we don't have rocket firing Boba Fett. All right, so obviously, I think we all know the answer to this question. Do you collect anything as an adult? If so, what are 1 or 2 unique, rare, cool things that you have that you don't mind sharing with people? Like, what's some of the cool stuff in your collections?
I mean, I have sketch from Peter Laird from 2005, and I don't think he actually sketches like shit anymore. I'm pretty sure that thing is very valuable. I have that in a frame. I have a lot of PlayStation 1 RPGs that go for like $300 a pop. Yeah. Wow. Like almost all mint too, that I've had this entire time. I don't know, I collect a lot of books, but they're not really worth anything, I would say. But I have a ton of autographs from people, like lithographs and a bunch of artwork, and I don't even have the room to hang half the stuff. Most of it's sitting in the closet unframed.
Yeah, I'm like that. I got a bunch of posters that are just rolled up and like wall spaces at a premium.
Like I told you, I have that John Carpenter They Live poster for 8 years and it's not even framed.
I mean, I've never thought about a lot of that stuff in terms of like collections. So I have that recent Spider-Man collection that I'm trying to complete. Mm-hmm. But then it's all just like, I also have just like a crap ton of video games, but I never thought of it as like a collection. I just never got rid of them. So I still have all my like childhood Sega Genesis games, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Like, I still just have all of them because I never got rid of them. And I guess you could consider it a collection, but I never like bought them with the express intent to collect them.
Yeah, I guess now the only things I really collect are comics and the G.I. Joe Classified series that's coming out. Just a couple of the cool things I have, I guess I would like. One of the weirdest comics I have, I found it at Half Price Books one time. It's a Battle Pope preview, which I don't know if that was Robert Kirkman's first published work. And this was like a little, what do they call them? Like Ashcan edition of the first issue. And he's like made them at the local whatever, Kinko's or whatever, passed them out the comic stores. He says there's only 75 in existence. And it's like, I just happened to run across one at Half Price Books one day, and I was like, well, and I put it online, and I think I contacted him on Twitter at the time and asked if this is that what he was talking about, because he mentions it in the back of one of the trade paperbacks. He's like, yep, that's it. He's like, you're very lucky. There's only 75 of those in existence, and God knows how many are actually left. So it's like, that's kind of cool. It's like, that's really the first published work by Robert Kirkman, because that predates Battle Pope 1.
Wait, what is that worth?
I have no idea. There's one, I think I was looking on CGC's website, and there's one that somebody got graded, and I've never seen one come up for sale anywhere. So I have no clue how much that thing is worth. Could not be worth, it might be worth the paper it's printed on. Might be $1,000 is the right person. I don't know. But it's funny. It's just like, little Xerox copy, and they changed the cover so it says cheesy black and white preview or cheesy photocopied preview or something like that. It's like, no. I just saw it at the store, and I was like, that's $1. Let me see that. Because I had heard of Battle Pope, but I never read it. So I just picked that up as, to see if I wanted to get the series. And then like 10 years later, I realized I had it, and I was like, oh, only one of 75. Sweet. Most of the other stuff I have is just, mass-produced stuff that anybody can get, really. But that was...
I have a watch that was sold through Nintendo Power. It was a GoldenEye watch, James Bond GoldenEye. Yeah, and I have no idea the value on it, but the thing is like mint. And I'm pretty sure it could be anywhere from like $500 to $1,000. Like, I'll never sell it, but still.
Somebody was telling me about this gold. Maybe it was talking for you, but I could swear I read an article on those or something. And people were like, everybody remember the GoldenEye watches? Like,
I have one in my safe right here. It needs a new battery, obviously, but...
All right, along the same lines, what's the most unique or oddball or coolest item in your line of sight right now?
I'd say my X-Men poster. You know that one I've showed you, right?
Yeah, with Storm like levitating on her back, basically.
Yeah, and Rogue with the Confederate flag and Kitty Pryde. Like, I hunted for that poster for years and then found a brand new one. I think it's from 1983. And I got it for like $55. Like,
I have a RAS, I guess, copper, I don't know. Space Shuttle pencil sharpener. It says copyright 1981 on it. So I've had this thing probably since 1981 or 82. And it's a pencil sharpener.
Is that the Moonraker?
Yeah, basically.
Direct line of sight?
I've got cooler stuff, but that's probably the most oddball thing I have.
I think it would probably have to be the collector's edition statue that I got when I pre-ordered Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, that's cool. From the video game?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say I have the ooze container.
Oh,
that's cool. That's pretty neat. What's that from?
I mean,
Ninja obviously Turtles. Ninja Turtles, but I mean,
first movie. God, I wish I saved the box for that.
Was that just a mass-produced item you could buy somewhere?
It was from NECA.
Like an emotional thing.
Yeah, it was like $45, but so it comes as slime. That's all like dried up, but all right, it still lights up.
Okay. What is the first movie you remember seeing in a theater?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Really?
I mean, that was the first one I've ever saw, so.
Were you terrified when he ever got dipped in the dippers, whatever they called it?
I don't think so. I think the second movie was we were going to see Ghostbusters 2 and we got there too late, so we had to see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and I was bullshit. I love Ghostbusters.
The first movie I remember seeing in the theater was Bambi, actually. They used to re-release that every, I don't know, maybe it was a 50th anniversary or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I was going to say that movie from the 40s or something.
Yeah, it was playing in the local theater, and we went and saw it, and just remember somehow we saw Bambi. That was it. All right, we're going to keep on movies.
They had all those World War II reels before it, like,
yeah.
Going to the Eastern Front now.
Oh, no,
Moving on, look at our boys.
Mine was definitely Toy Story.
Toy Story? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks. When did that come out? Like
95.
So you would have been like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect age for that. That's awesome. All right. If you can narrow down what are your top 5 favorite movies. I know it's a loaded question because you could probably, change that list on a day-to-day basis. But right now, what are your top 5 favorite movies?
I would say Casino Royale, Empire Strikes Back,
I know.
Waiting for Guffman, probably. Hereditary, maybe? It's one of my favorite horror movies. I don't know. It's just on the spot for right now, but that was 4.
Yeah.
I love Sideways. That's one of my favorite comedies, too.
Is that the Paul Giamatti one?
Yeah, where they go to wine country.
The wine country? Yeah.
I never get sick of that movie. Ever.
Let's see. I'd probably go Empire Strikes Back. Might need to throw Star Wars in there. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Definitely. Maybe The Matrix. Although I haven't watched that in a while. I loved that when it came out. Saw that multiple times in the theater. And Usual Suspects. I like that one a lot. Yeah, we'll go with that. Like I said, the list will probably change tomorrow.
Yeah, this is tough.
It's just hard to narrow it down. And you're like, oh, and then I forgot about that. And I forgot about that one.
I'd say for mine, Batman Returns is definitely up there. Shawshank Redemption is definitely.
Oh, yeah. Dang, I might have to take something out and put Pulp Fiction in.
Creed is one of my favorite movies. And then also along those lines, have either of you seen the movie Warrior?
Yeah, Tom Hardy and
I haven't seen that one. No.
Love that movie. That's all I got right now.
All right, this is my Graham specific question. Made this one just for you. What is or are your favorite movie franchises? What's your favorite movie? And you can pick one or multiples. What's your favorite movie in each of them? What's your least favorite movie in each of them?
I mean, obviously, like the obvious Marvel DC, which would have to be, I think Batman Returns is probably my favorite DC movie.
Yeah, made your top 5 all time.
And Marvel would have to be Infinity War.
All right,
but I'm also...
least favorite?
Oh, least favorite? Thor: The Dark World.
Okay.
And I don't even know what my least favorite DC movie is. Probably Batman v Superman.
That's not the worst movie.
It's not, but it's probably my least favorite. And then, I mean, there's like smaller franchises that I'm a big fan of, like Predator franchise, Rocky, things like that.
Ooh, what's your favorite and least favorite Rocky movie?
Oh, I mean, if we're not counting the Creed series,
2 and 4.
I'm a huge Rocky 4 fan.
2 and 5.
Least favorite is tough because I haven't rewatched all of them a lot.
Yeah.
Like 4 I watch all the time.
I must break you.
Probably 5.
That's one with Tommy Gunn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst one.
But if we're counting the Creed franchise, I would put Creed over any of the actual Rocky movies.
Wow, I need to watch those. I still haven't seen Creed somehow.
Oh, first one's fantastic. They're all good, but the first one is like fantastic.
Third one's kind of weak, but it's still alright.
Kyle, got any thoughts? Favorite franchises, least favorite franchises? Or sorry, favorite franchise, favorite movie, and least favorite movie in them?
Oh god, I didn't even say Star Wars.
Well,
yeah.
I know what you're gonna say. Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, right?
Oh,
is that not 100%?
Yeah.
I would say Empire, and then probably Rise of Skywalker at this point.
That's a bad one.
I can do James Bond, so I would say Casino Royale, and worse. Oh, that's a tough one. Probably For Your Eyes Only, I guess.
Oh, that's your least favorite?
No, that can't be it. There's so much worse than that. I mean, I love all of them. Yeah, probably Moonraker. View to a Kill was pretty bad.
You're not going to put any of the Pierce Brosnan ones on there?
Tomorrow Never Dies was not that great, but it wasn't the worst. World is not enough. Die Another Day is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, that's the one that springs into my mind. But
I don't know. I'd have to think more on this. We got to do this for the when we get Brian Rupert on here.
Oh yeah, we'll have a whole James Bond episode, and I'll just sit back and be like,
Oh, I'm in the same boat.
we just sit here with our jaws on the floor as they geek out. All right. My favorites obviously would be Star Wars. Favorite movie would be Empire. Although I do go back to the original Star Wars, or A New Hope, as you young kids call it, quite a bit. Not the special edition because that's terrible, but the original version. Least favorite is, but just for the terribleness overall, I think I'd probably go Last Jedi. I just don't like that movie. Others, Marvel would be tough to place. My favorites probably Winter Soldier, and my least favorite, I haven't seen them all yet, so I don't know how bad some of the later ones are. But of the ones I've seen,
Eternals.
Ooh, that is pretty bad. Yeah, it's just so boring. It has some good stuff in it, but man, it's boring. Yeah, I'll call Eternals. I had no desire to go back and watch that movie. You talked me into it, Kyle. Moving on to comics. What's the first comic book you remember reading?
I know it was
And follow on.
Detectives Comics. It was 1990. It was called Library of Souls. I couldn't tell you what issue it was, but it was this librarian guy that was killing people and filing them in the library based on the Dewey Decimal System. And Batman cracked the case.
Okay, there's a follow-up that kind of goes along with this. What's the first comic you remember that hooked you into buying more or becoming a long-time reader?
It's probably Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. That whole that run.
That is like right after I got out of reading Spider-Man. That's kind of funny. They lost me and it picked you right up.
Also, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, that was good. That's what got me. That's probably the book that got me into DC more than anything at that time. I was reading Little Batman here and there, but that's my college roommate turned me on to Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, and I started reading that. I really liked it.
Yeah, Graham and I met Ron Mars at a con in Manchester.
All right, I found the exact issue. The first comic I ever remember owning was Uncanny X-Men number 170,
Oh, nice.
and it was the
Right
big,
before Rogue joins the team.
yeah, it was the big issue where Storm fought Callisto, the leader of the Morlocks.
Uh-huh.
Great issue.
How did you randomly have that? It's like from the early 80s.
I don't remember, but I read that book hundreds of times. I actually
I remember the cover on that.
bought that recently.
Yeah.
Is that the book that hooked you?
I probably, I mean, it's definitely the first book that I had, and like, so I would say yes.
Mine, I mean, the first thing I remember reading was like an old Beagle Boys or something, one of those, Disney comics that my grandma had. But the first book that really, really hooked me was probably my G.I. Joe 7. That's the one I credit with getting me started in comics. I still got it here, beaten to hell because I read it a million times, but that was the book that got me into comics. I'd read a few before that because my brother had like Star Wars 1 through 6 when they came out, and I used to sneak those, and he like hated me for it. Like, don't touch my shit. So I remember, I didn't really think of it as myself as a comics reader until I found out there were G.I. Joe comics, and then I was hooked after that. I would just track every G.I. Joe comic I could find down after that.
When I really got into Spider-Man, it was right before Maximum Carnage, where Harry Osborn dies.
Oh, yeah.
The, what is that, Spectacular Spider-Man 200 or something with that foil cover?
Mm-hmm. The green
Yeah.
foil cover, is that
I
the
was
one?
super into that. So I was like right
Nice.
before. Still have
That's
that one
cool.
too.
So what are your favorite comic characters?
I meant to go cliche, I would say Batman for DC, Spider-Man. Love Superman, any of the X-Men. As a kid, I loved Professor X. I was like, if I
Oh,
ever have a
really?
kid, I'm calling him Xavier. Not even Charles, but Xavier.
What drew you to Professor X?
I don't
Old
know.
bald guy
I
in a wheelchair, but he
just
had all
love
the
the
metal powers.
cartoon.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that would have been the 90s cartoon. Graham, anything?
I would say overall Batman, but like not modern Batman, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really like
Makes a lot of
how
sense.
they've started writing him in the last like 10 years. I was always a huge Hal Jordan fan. When I first started like really getting into comics was right when like Green Lantern Rebirth came out.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
remember reading that and like became a real big Hal Jordan fan.
I liked Kyle, but no, I really liked Hal.
Spider-Man. I also, I like the edgy characters that I would have liked when I was 15. I'm a big fan of Red Hood, the Scarlet Spider that's not Ben Reilly. I was a big fan of his comic run when that came out. I'd say those are probably my like top.
Yeah, for DC, obviously it's Batman. Was on a Superman kick for a while, but I haven't read Superman comics in years. Marvel, I always like Spider-Man, although I haven't been buying Spider-Man comics for probably 20 years now. Daredevil, probably Daredevil and Captain America were my two favorites when I was really hardcore into Marvel. I mean, obviously, I like guys like, I love the Hitman series from DC. That's awesome, but unfortunately, they killed him off. Preacher was awesome. I love Jesse Custer from Preacher. Love me some Rick Grimes from Walking Dead, but I don't know, a lot. Hard to say. I mean, it's like narrowing down your favorite movies. What are your favorite characters? Like, yes, all of them.
I would need like a week to go through that list.
Yeah. Any comic run series or specific stories you would recommend to people?
I mean, Daredevil Born Again. We covered that in the first episode.
Yeah, that's a good one.
X-Men Mutant Massacre. I don't know. I'm in Dark Phoenix Saga. Not to stick with the X-Men, but that would be a good one.
Stay with the classics.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole freaking Claremont Byrne run is amazing. And actually, geez, I really dug X-Men up to around the 220s or so, and then it got a little stale, and then they had the whole Siege Perilous thing, and then they went to the Australian Outback, and then it just got cool again. It's just like it was constantly reinventing himself. Like Claremont was awesome.
My recommendeds are mostly DC. Yeah, there's a lot of Batman runs that I'd recommend. Hush, Long Halloween, No Man's Land. But I also really liked like the Blackest Night storyline.
That was good.
The first Crisis on Infinite Earths was really good. I also really liked Final Crisis.
I haven't read Final Crisis. Wait, Scott, you're not a fan of Long Halloween, right?
No,
If I remember correctly.
I thought it was one of the most overrated Batman stories ever. I don't know. It's something about Jeff Loeb. He seems so bland to me. I don't know what it is. Like the guy wrote Commando. I mean, he's not all bad, but you know, his Batman stories just kind of leave me. They don't do much for me.
I definitely
Like
prefer Hush to Long Halloween.
Yeah, I just thought. Well, it kind of seemed like when he got to Long Halloween, like people figured out the mystery, and so I think he said he changed it at the end, and it just kind of was like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's an urban legend or if he actually said that or what, but I don't remember. I remember reading that in Wizard, I think.
That's something I wish was still around. Wizard Magazine. I used to love that.
Love it. Let's see, you've hit a couple of my big ones that I always recommend. Batman Year One was excellent. Daredevil Born Again. One of the ones that people seem to overlook, it's one of my favorites, was the Avengers Under Siege, when the Masters of Evil took over the Avengers Mansion. It was like Avengers like 270 to 275 or something like that, with a Spider-Man issue thrown in there for some reason. That was good. That's when they get in. Mr. Hyde beats the snot out of Jarvis. Hercules, of course, goes in there half-cocked like, these bastards, and he goes in there and he gets his ass kicked and put in a coma, and it's nuts. And, of course, at the very end is the best part for me was at the end when Captain America is going through and, like, you know, they've won, they've saved the day, kicked Baron Zemo's ass and all this, and it gets at the end and he finds out that they, like, destroyed all of his stuff, and it was like he had, like, a photograph of his mother, and it was, like, the only photograph he had of her and stuff like this. It was, you know, he's already been, this would have been the late 80s, 87, 88, somewhere in there. So, you know, he's already a man out of time. He's been, you know, in Marvel time, he's probably been out of the ice 5 or 10 years at that point. But he's just sitting there and he's just like, why do they do this? And they, you know, he's getting all emotional about it because they ruined all his stuff. And, you know, he has no family. He has no, you know, friends that are still around from that time and everything. And it's like these guys took all that from him. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that one seems to get overlooked. It's all the modern classics. Also, oh my God, you guys ever read Planetary, the Warren Ellis book, John Cassaday?
I don't think so. I know the name, but
It doesn't sound familiar.
It's basically like he's exploring kind of like all the different cliches and types and of, you know, archetypes of characters and things. Just kind of doing his own little pastiche on things, and it's really cool. These guys are basically like archaeologists of the weird, and they're going through the world and they're discovering like the hidden history of the superheroes and all the crazy shit that's been covered up and everything. It's pretty neat. Like the second issue is like a Godzilla issue. You know, that's what it's like. It's a wild storm.
Graham right there. He's a Godzilla fiend.
I didn't even bring up Godzilla in any of the other things. Oh.
We got to do a Godzilla episode at some point.
That'd be fun.
We do.
Yeah, check out Planetary. That's a great book. The first like dozen issues of The Authority, also Warren Ellis. Those are fantastic. I mean, especially now that the movie's going to be coming out. Got to check those out. I was a big, huge like Warren Ellis fan. Like anything he wrote, he could do no wrong for the longest time. All right, moving on. We've covered comics. What are your favorite bands or musical artists?
Well, my favorite band of all time is definitely Genesis, but specifically Peter Gabriel era Genesis. So the early mid 70s, like super heavy progressive rock. But I love all of Genesis, so like any of it.
Wow, I did not have that on my bingo card.
I think even Graham knew that one. Well, he might have said Phil Collins, but
Yeah, I probably would have said Phil Collins. Yeah, that's another one for me that's like hard to quantify.
How do you narrow it down? Yeah.
I mean they're definitely number one. But I love Ice Nine Kills. I love Muse. I meant so many bands.
If I had to narrow it down to 3, my top 2 are easy and they're kind of cheesy. Queen's probably number 1. Alan Parsons Project of all things is number 2 probably. I don't know why I got into them, but I did, and I just love like their first 10 albums or so. Just amazing. After that, it gets a little hazier. Maybe Van Halen. I don't know.
I'm a huge Van Halen fan. You saw the
Like,
shoes
everybody's
I
like-
was wearing, right? When
Yeah.
we were all right. Let's say you didn't miss that, did you?
I was like, you like David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar? It's like I like both. They're just different. But the rest of the band is the rest of the core of the band is still there, and they've been awesome throughout the years. I mean, there's bands I've been into.
Since I was like 10.
That's probably my big 3.
I don't know if I could narrow it down.
Well, just give us
What's a
a couple.
band you like? Like
Oh, let's see. Let me just pull up my.
Katrina and the Waves.
he might be the first person to not have like a favorite band. I've never
I
heard
really
that.
I really don't. It
Do
just
you have a
depends
favorite
on.
anything?
Plus, he's never been to a concert. Like we need to bring him to a concert.
Oh,
that's true, yeah.
I have been to concerts.
Wait, I thought you said you hadn't.
I said I had never been to a Pink Floyd concert.
What was the concerts you went to?
I've been to. I mean, I've seen-
Exactly.
I went and saw the British Pink Floyd a couple times. I've seen the Steve Miller Band. I've seen Godsmack.
I wonder he hates music.
Went and saw Disturbed a few times. I don't know.
Okay, do you have any guilty pleasure songs or artists? Ones you don't normally admit to, but you'd be like, I kind of like that.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but I love Duran Duran.
Oh, God, everybody loves Duran Duran. Come on.
I know, but still, I'm not gonna like, yay!
Yay! Kind of ruins your hard
You know,
edge
it might
attitude.
just be that I grew up in the '90s with an older sister, but I can jam out to some Backstreet Boys and some NSYNC from time to time.
Oh, man. Yeah. They do write catchy stuff, but
Oh, I hated it for most of my life, but then you hear it for
Then it
the first
sinks in.
time in like 10 years, and you're like, all right, it's kind of a jam.
You know what my sister used to listen to in the 90s? Like around when it was after she died and she was famous, but remember Selena?
yeah.
Like if I hear that shit now, I'm like, that's a banger.
I don't know if I know any of her songs. I mean, I'm sure I've heard them.
But yeah,
probably
25
gonna-
years later, I'm like, yeah, I dig that song.
My band that I never admit to in public, but I love them is ABBA.
God.
What's wrong
You
with
should have
ABBA?
stayed silent like Graham over here.
What's wrong
That'd be
with
a good
ABBA?
episode. We have to find Graham like his favorite band or like help him.
Well, there we go. Quest for Graham's band.
Just make him
And,
listen to music like your friend on YouTube there, whatever you're talking about. Like make him listen to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, there you go.
No, my problem isn't that I haven't heard enough
know.
music. My problem is I have
Heard too much.
yeah.
Can't narrow it down. All right. Well, we've kind of mentioned this before. What was the first concert you ever went to that you can remember?
It was Yes in 1995.
Yes, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I think the first one for me was the one that it was Littlefoot and the Steve Miller Band.
Did you take the money and run?
Stupid.
It was all I remember. It was like an outdoor venue, but it had like stadium seating, and then behind it there was like a huge lawn, and we had lawn
Yeah.
seats.
Yeah, it was probably in Mansfield, the Comcast Arena. It used to be the Twitter Center or whatever.
We had lawn seats, and a fight broke out like near us, and this fight
Like it does.
actually made its way to like where me and my family were, and I was probably like 9 or 10 at the time, and so staff came, broke up the fight, and moved us down to like actual seating. We got like a
Oh,
free,
nice.
yeah, we got like a free upgrade because we almost got.
They're like,
punched
you want a
in the-
backstage pass to meet Steve Miller? And his family's like, not really.
We used to have an amphitheater like that here in Columbus, and it was awesome. And like all the big, that was where all the big concerts were. And then, of course, the developers came in and they started building houses around it. And then people complained because it was too loud by the amphitheater. It's like you built a house by the fucking amphitheater. What did you expect? And so they actually shut it down, tore it down, and now it's freaking IKEA. The closest we have one, there's one like that up in Cleveland, and there's one down like that in Cincinnati too. But we don't have an amphitheater in Columbus anymore because it was too loud for the people that built their houses there. What was the question again? Oh yeah. First concert I went to was Mr. Big. Woo!
What year was that?
I think it was 1991. It was 91 or 90. They were on their.
What were you, like 25 at that point?
I was like 20. Yeah.
Jesus
I never went to
Christ.
concerts. My buddy Phil used to go to like every concert ever. He saw Metallica like 3 times in high school. It was like this kind of stuff. I was like, was when I got back to the army, and he's like, want to go to concerts? Yes, let's go to concerts. First
You
one.
sure
just happened to
Graham
be
wasn't
Mr. Big.
there? He's like, I have no idea why I'm at this Mr. Big show
Yeah, might have been.
in Ohio.
He was 2 years old. Yes. Oh yeah. What's the best concert you've ever been to, and what's the worst?
Oh, geez. I did see Genesis on their last tour, but I would say Fleetwood Mac was the best. I've seen him twice, but the first time I
bet
saw
that'd be
him,
good. Heidi's seen them. I've never gotten to see them though. Like I said, I didn't start seeing concerts until I was older, and then I did that for about 5 or 6 years and stopped going to concerts again.
and one of the worst was Van Halen on their very last tour. Everything was on point except for David Lee Roth, and he like ruined it. But that
Really?
was like the last show, one of the last shows Eddie ever played at. So I mean, it was amazing
Yeah.
for me, but vocally it was shit.
That's funny you say that because I was going to say one of the worst ones, probably my worst concert I saw was Van Halen. And it's just because it was at that amphitheater, but everything was turned up so fucking loud. You couldn't, like, all you heard was just, it's like
Yeah.
you couldn't even make out what half the songs were. And it's like, we were back in the lawn, what is going on here? It's like when Eddie's doing a solo, fine, because he was the only one playing. When anybody was doing solo stuff, it was fine. But when the mix was just terrible, it's like I had a headache about half an hour into it, and it was a miserable experience. Best would probably Rush. They put on a damn good live show.
Oh shit! I saw him on the Time Machine tour, but
Oh yeah,
I only saw the last half of the show. That's a story for a later date.
I think it was Counterparts when we saw him. Yeah, that was really good, and one that
Is that
surprised
the album with
crap out of me.
"Leave That Thing Alone"? The
I think so, yeah.
instrumental.
Yeah.
That's where it has the nut and bolt or whatever.
Yeah, Nut and Bolt. Yep, that one,
Yeah.
blue cover with the Nut and Bolt. Yep. Or Leave That Thing Alone on Roll the Bones. Dang it.
It might have been, but I know it was on the live Counterparts, whatever. I know you'd probably know
Yeah.
more than me.
Yeah, they were great. Anything, Graham? Oh, they all suck.
Best. I saw Styx live. That was probably
Dude, that was almost. I was going to say that too. They
that
were
was probably the
surprisingly
best
good.
one that I've ever went to.
Was it with Dennis DeYoung when he was back with them temporarily?
I'm not sure. I wasn't huge.
He doesn't know his
into-
parents made him go.
No, I wasn't like huge into Styx. But I had a high
Whiz.
school friend that offered me a ticket, and I wasn't going to turn it down.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to be that good, and they got out there and they were really good. I was like, holy crap! It sounds like the freaking album. Are they lip syncing? Are they really playing? Like, come on.
Worst that I can remember was probably when I saw Godsmack. It was just I was probably like 12 at the time, and it was just like loud and full of like obviously drunk and drugged up and shitty people. So the lead singer of Godsmack is I don't know if he's from New Hampshire, but he at least lives in New Hampshire.
Oh, Sully.
Yeah. And one of my dad's friends at the time was like really good friends with him, and we saw that person at the concert, and they asked if we wanted to go backstage after the concert and meet him, and I was just like, no, I would like to go home now, please.
No, thank you, sir.
Looking
I just
back,
want
it
to
was
go home.
probably for the best, because I can't imagine that backstage at a Godsmack concert would have been an appropriate place for a 12-year-old, but
Probably not.
I heard
yeah,
that
it
dude was like a legendary dick too. Sully Erna, whatever the hell his name is. It's like, I'm gonna go home and read some Animorphs.
don't knock Animorphs. That is probably what I did, though.
He's like, I'm not made for the road.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'm running out of questions here, so let's wrap this up real quick. Do you have any favorite sports teams?
I used to be
Or do you
big
not give
into
a crap about
Manchester
sports?
United, but I meant obviously Red Sox, but I don't really care anymore.
I mean, I'm a ride or die Patriots fan.
Okay.
You know, I was a fan before they got Brady. Still a fan now that he's gone.
Me being Columbus, obviously I'm an Ohio State fan, and my NFL team's the Seattle Seahawks because when I was a kid, I had to pick a team. Or so my brother told me. I liked birds, and they were blue, green, and silver. So that was my team. I was like 7, so that's how you pick teams when you're 7.
They're probably like, Graham, you want to go meet Drew Bledsoe? He's like, no, not really.
Oh, I'd kill to meet Drew Bledsoe.
We have this new starting quarterback from California, Tom Brady. Yeah.
He's a Michigan guy.
He is from California, though, right?
He's from California,
Right.
yeah, but he went to college in Michigan. So
There's my
So he's got
football
that going
knowledge
against
right
him.
there.
So anyway, that's all I got. I hope that was somewhat entertaining and we learned some stuff. Like I said, anything you want to go into more, we could probably make full episodes out of some of that stuff if you really wanted to. But cool. So I learned some stuff. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had a good time.
All right.
All right, got anything else?
I don't think we're good. And with that, keep it pointless.
Keep it pointless.
Keep it pointless. Bye, everybody.